Did you know that lorry drivers have one of the highest divorce rates of any profession in the UK? It is a staggering statistic, mate. And it is not because we are all bad blokes or looking for trouble. It is because this job is a jealous mistress that demands every single second of your life, leaving nothing but crumbs for the people you actually love. I have seen more marriages crumble in service station car parks than I have seen blown tires on the M1. You are away for 5 days a week, sometimes more, living in a metal box while the world moves on without you. Your kids grow up in photographs, and your wife becomes a voice on the hands-free that usually sounds tired, lonely, or just plain angry. I remember one Tuesday night hauling a 40-ton container from Southampton up to a depot in Scotland. The rain was doing that typical British thing where it is not quite a storm, but it is enough to make the windscreen wipers moan. I was knackered. My back was aching, and I was staring at the tail lights of the lorry in front like I was in a trance. Then the phone rang. It was the missus. I knew by the ringtone it wasn't going to be a "how was your day" kind of chat. It was that heavy, sharp silence on the other end before she even spoke. She started talking about the boiler breaking down again. Then it was the kids' school reports. And then the fact that I'd missed another anniversary. I was sitting there, trying to navigate a narrow stretch of roadworks on the M6, while my personal life was being dismantled in my ear. You try to be present. You really do. But how can you fix a boiler from 300 miles away? How can you comfort a crying child when you are fighting a crosswind on a motorway bridge? The frustration builds up until it feels like your head is going to explode. The argument escalated fast. Words were said that you can't take back. Sharp things that cut deeper than any accident. I was shouting into the cab, my face turning red, my heart thumping against my ribs. I wasn't driving a lorry anymore. I was driving a massive, rolling ball of stress and resentment. That is the danger nobody tells the new lads about. When your head isn't in the cab, you are a lethal weapon. Your eyes are on the road, but you aren't seeing the white lines or the signs. You are seeing the argument. You are seeing the empty chair at the dinner table. I was so caught up in the row that I didn't notice the traffic slowing down ahead of me. A car had broken down in the inside lane, and the vehicles in front were filtering right. I was still shouting, still defending myself, still trapped in a world that was hundreds of miles away. Then she hung up. That final cold click on the line is the loneliest sound in the world. I threw the phone onto the passenger seat and let out a roar of pure frustration. And that was the exact moment I looked up and realized the world had stopped in front of me. The brake lights of a small hatchback were suddenly massive in my windscreen. I slammed both feet onto the air brakes, a pure instinct reaction. The whole rig shuddered. The tires screamed as they fought for grip on the wet tarmac. I could hear the cargo shifting behind me, a low, heavy rumble of 30 tons of freight trying to overtake the cab. I squeezed my eyes shut for a fraction of a second, waiting for the crunch of metal, waiting for the moment my life changed forever. The lorry came to a halt with a bone-jarring lurch. I was inches away from the back of that car. Inches. I could see the terrified face of the driver in his rearview mirror, staring at the massive grille of my Scania. My heart was going absolutely mental, proper thumping in my throat. I sat there for a minute, my hands shaking so hard I could barely grip the wheel. The traffic started to move again, but I couldn't. I pulled over onto the hard shoulder, put the hazards on, and just put my head in my hands. I realized then that I'd almost killed a family because I was arguing about a broken boiler. I'd almost ended everything because I couldn't separate the cab from the kitchen table. It is a terrifying realization, mate. You think you are a pro. You think you can handle anything the road throws at you, but you can't handle a broken heart at 56 miles an hour. The road doesn't care if you are getting a divorce. It doesn't care if your kids don't recognize you. It just waits for you to make one tiny emotional mistake. I sat in that lay-by for an hour, watching the world go past. I looked at the photos of my family on the dashboard. They looked like strangers. I was hauling a load to a depot for a company that would replace me in a heartbeat if I crashed. But I was losing the only people who actually mattered. I picked up the phone. I didn't call the missus back. Not yet. I called the transport manager. I told him I was finished. I told him to find another driver to take the return load. I was going home. He gave me grief. Of course he did. Talked about schedules, talked about the contract, talked about how I was letting the team down. I just told him, mate, I've got a boiler to fix. He didn't understand. They never do. I drove home that night, not as a trucker, but as a husband and a dad. It took a long time to fix what had been broken, longer than any engine repair. But I learned a lesson that saved my life and my marriage. If you are a new driver watching this, listen to me. The cab is for driving, the house is for living. If the phone rings and it's going to be a heavy one, pull over. Don't try to navigate a marriage while you are navigating a motorway. Your head needs to be where your hands are. And remember, no delivery is worth more than the people waiting for you at the end of the run. Companies will always have more cargo, but you only have one family. This job can be the best in the world, but it can also be the loneliest. Keep the lines of communication open, but keep the road under your tires and the drama in the lay-by. Don't let the high divorce rates be your story. If this story hit a bit too close to home for you, drop a like on the video. It helps to know we aren't alone in this struggle. Subscribe for more honest tales from the tarmac, because we've all got a story to tell. And let me know in the comments, how do you balance the long hours with life at home? Stay safe out there. Look after your head as much as your lorry. Keep the shiny side up. Over and out.